Life can feel way too complicated sometimes, right? But what if the secret to a simpler, more peaceful life wasn't some huge, complex solution, but just a few small shifts in how you think? Well, in this explainer, we're going to dig into 9 simple psychological habits that can totally change how you experience your day-to-day life. We've all had those days, or weeks, where it feels like you're just constantly pushing a giant boulder uphill. It's exhausting. But what if that boulder isn't actually the world, but the stuff going on inside our own heads? Turns out, the source of our struggles is often a lot closer to home than we think. It's so easy to blame everything outside of us, right? Our job, our money, that difficult person we have to deal with. But as you can see here, the real battle is usually happening right between our own ears. The real secret, the real shift isn't about changing the world out there. It's about changing how we think about it in here. Okay, so how do we actually do that? Well, we're going to break it down into 3 core pillars. Think of this as your simple but really powerful roadmap for building a calmer, more resilient mind, one habit at a time. Let's kick things off with pillar 1, mastering your inner world. This is all about getting a handle on that little voice in your head. You know the one. It's the narrator that shapes your mood, your reactions, and pretty much your entire reality. So within this pillar, we've got 3 key habits. First, we'll talk about quieting all that overthinking. Then we'll get into rewriting the script of our inner critic. And finally, we'll figure out how to let go of old mistakes that are just weighing us down. Okay, this first habit is an absolute game changer. I mean, just think about it. How much mental energy do we burn just analyzing every tiny little decision, turning a straight path into a complicated maze? And look, choosing to think simply isn't about being lazy. Not at all. It's about being smart. It's about finding the quickest, most direct path to feeling calm. Think of your mind like a garden. Are you watering the weeds of self-doubt, or are you nurturing the flowers of confidence? That inner voice you have can be your worst enemy or your best ally. Making a real effort to be your own biggest supporter isn't just a fluffy idea. Positive self-talk is pretty much the foundation for good mental health. Look, we've all got this backpack filled with past mistakes, right? This habit isn't about pretending that backpack is empty. It's about taking a look inside, learning the lesson from what's in there, and then making a conscious choice to set it down. That's where the real freedom is, when you stop letting yesterday's baggage weigh down today's journey. All right, so we've done some work on our inner world. Now it's time for pillar 2, mastering your actions and boundaries. This is where the rubber meets the road. It's about what you do, and maybe even more important, what you decide not to do, what you decide not to let into your life. In this section, we're diving into 3 big ones for taking back control, learning where to put your energy, finding the strength to say no, and, believe it or not, using rest as a superpower. Honestly, this might be the single most powerful habit for a calm mind. Think about it. So much of our stress comes from us worrying about all the stuff we just can't influence. This habit is about using your focus like a magnifying glass, shining all of your energy and attention only on the things you can actually do something about. Your own actions, your own effort, your own responses. This one can be really tough. I get it. But it is so, so important. Every time you say yes to something you don't really have the time or energy for, you're actually saying no to your own well-being. You got to reframe this in your mind. Saying no isn't selfish. It's an act of self-respect. You're basically protecting your most valuable asset, your energy. We live in this culture that's obsessed with being busy. We think being busy equals being productive. But that's just not true. Rest isn't the enemy of work. It's a crucial part of the process. Taking a break lets your brain hit the reset button, recharge, and honestly, come back to work at a way higher level. It's not lazy, it's a strategy. And that brings us to our final pillar, mastering your relationships. Because let's face it, after we've started to sort out our inner world and our actions, how we deal with other people, well, that's often the final and trickiest piece of the puzzle, isn't it? So in this last part, we're going to talk about 3 amazing ways to just let go. We're letting go of the need to change people, letting go of constantly comparing ourselves, and letting go of the need to win every single argument. Seriously, just take a second and think about how much brain power we waste trying to change or control the people in our lives. It is exhausting and it almost never works. This habit gives us a much easier way, acceptance. Now, acceptance doesn't mean you have to agree with them. Nope. It just means you're dropping the super stressful job of trying to be their fixer. Wow, this quote really hits home, doesn't it? Comparison steals happiness. How much joy do we literally throw away just by scrolling through social media, looking at someone else's perfect-looking life. Comparison is a game nobody wins. This is your reminder to put on those blinders, stay focused on your own path, and celebrate your own journey. Oh man, it is so tempting to get that last word in to prove you're right, but what does it really cost you? A lot of the time, it costs you your peace of mind. So next time, before you jump into a fight, just ask yourself this one question. What's more important right now? Being right or being at peace? And trust me, choosing peace isn't a sign of weakness. It's a sign of strength. It means you value your own sanity more than your ego. So when you boil it all down, all 9 of these habits, everything we've talked about across these 3 pillars, it all comes back to this one simple truth. Life gets easier not when the world around you magically changes, but when the mind that's experiencing that world gets calmer. So let's not just let this be interesting information. Let's turn it into a real transformation. I've got a question for you. Out of everything we just covered, which one of these habits really jumped out at you? What is the one small thing you can start doing today to bring a little more ease and peace into your life?